Hey, welcome back. Max Nafe Horsemanship here. And I want to address a question that I actually got asked. Somebody says, well, what it would be, can you do a demo on correcting? Now, correcting is something that, depending on what you're actually doing, it varies a lot. What I'm going to show you is, it's a very generic example of correction. But, it could be a lot of different things. It really could. That's why it's one of those things that's really hard to do a demo or a video of, because there's, depending on what you're doing at the time, there's really an awful lot of variables in it. Now, but I'm going to give you just an example with this guy here. Now, he leads not too bad, actually. You'll see, lead over open hand. And there we go. He's coming with me. Now, as you can see, I'm obviously getting a little further away from the camera here. There we go. But I'm doing this kind of on purpose so you get to see what we're doing here. Because I want to show you what correcting is. If I'm leading him, and actually I don't even like where he is right now, but we'll get to that in a minute. But if I'm leading, and, well, if he was to, for example, well, since he's in the wrong place anyhow, if he was to get up that close beside me, what I would do to correct him, I could do one of two things. I can either just spin my lead and say, hey, back up, buddy. There. That's one thing I could do. I could actually spin my lead and tell him to back up. And then he goes back where he's supposed to be, behind me. Now, that's my way of leading, by the way. So, there's, somebody will say, well, what the heck are you doing? That's not right. Well, let's not go there right now. I've talked about proper leading. One of the other things I can do to correct him, if he starts getting up on my left-hand side, I'm going to turn left. And I'm going to immediately spin my lead and turn left and cut him off. And he has to get back where he's supposed to be, because if he doesn't, I'm going to catch up to him, and with his lead spinning, it's going to end up making contact with his backside, and you'll see it never does. Okay, same thing if I'm going forward. And he's following too close, I can just start spinning this lead. That's a correction. That's a correction. It's not the only one you can use. There's a couple different ways you can do it, but that's a correction. Now, similar to if I want to back up. Now, of course, he stopped when I stopped. He's very good that way. And most of the time, he will back up. But if, for example, he did not back up, or, well, I don't know, I'm not real happy with how close he is, I'm just going to spin this a little more, and he's going to back up even further. So those are examples of correction. Yeah, that's not a really good example, but it's pretty much the only one I can do. I can't give you a whole lot of examples because it's just, like I said, depending on the scenario, there's just so many variables of what you're doing and what correction may actually entail that, well, let's just say correction does not involve getting grumpy with the horse, hitting it, whipping it, kicking it, beating it, spurring it, or any of that stuff. There's ways of correcting it, but if the horse is doing anything undesirable, you have to find a way to get it to do what you want it to do without being brutal about it, and that is correction. Now, like I said, depending on what you're doing, that can vary a lot, but there you go. Those are examples of correction. Now, correction, like I said, it's whenever the horse is not doing what you want it to do, and you have to do something. Don't let it get away with not doing it. You have to correct it, but do it in a fashion that is acceptable. Don't get pushy, don't get rude, don't get mean, don't get nasty. He hasn't done anything to deserve it. He just doesn't know any better. Consider that. Don't get mad at the horse for something it doesn't know. That's not the horse's fault. That's your fault because you haven't taught him. There you go. Correction. Have a good day.